What's up, Juventini? Welcome back to the AJC, your channel dedicated to Juventus. We've got a big one today with Atalanta that kicks off a tricky road. Some saying could be a season-defining stretch of matches for Juventus. In the headlines, we're already talking targets, but Juve makes a signing that might be way bigger than most are making it out to be. Finally addressing the taker of souls, J Medical. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Tudor pissing off the fan base with his choice of words at his presser yesterday. Left fans for the first time. You knew it was going to happen. He's going to say something that bothers somebody at some point. Well, he's finally done it. He's finally done it. We're going to break it all down and, of course, have your build-up to the match today against Atalanta. I got Trim with me. Trim, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. Looking forward to this match as always. Atalanta's a tricky one, but like you mentioned right off the hop, like this is a big stretch coming up. 6 big matches, no rest for the wicked. Let's see what these guys are made of, and specifically Tudor. He's got to get it right starting from today. So let's see how it goes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now we got to say what's up to the AJC Army, and I will take full responsibility for us running a bit behind schedule today, all right? But we got a lot of stuff we had to prepare and whatnot. Took a little bit longer. And you guys, it is, 6 a.m. my time, so hey, take it easy, okay? We got Alex Juve with a birthday in the house. Tanti auguri, amico, all right? Hopefully, we get the victory and you could celebrate your birthday in style with a Juventus win, all right? Great to see Sikoku in here. Swarit, as always. Gio. We got Adam Khan in here. We've got Alex, as not just Alex Juve, we've got Alex Jones, we got Gio in here, Apex, Gugino, Eddie, Zwartwork Music. Great to see you all. Okay, we have a ton to discuss in breaking this one down, and we're going to start with some headlines. The first headline is one that caught me by surprise. Very, very happy moment, very, very proud moment, extremely proud moment. Would have never thought, when this thing kicked off in 2018 with just audio, that we get to the stage, the level that we're at now, and we keep climbing. But the support that all of you have given is incredible. We have been named one of the 15 finalists for Best Podcast in the international category with the Football Content Awards. Incredible just to even reach that. There's many with gross followings that haven't hit that. So the support we get is insane, and we have to say thank you. But now, of course, reminder, head over to that site. Just simply Google Football Content Awards. Click on the tab that pops up for FCA's voting and go down to Best Podcast in the international category and rep the AJC Army. All right? Big thank you there.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.
Insane. That's insane.
Yeah, it's quite the honor. So, all your hard work, Bert, for, what you've done for the community and getting this thing started. It's showing, and the love and support from all the fans, and, we appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's I appreciate everybody in the team, all the contributions. It's amazing, but the Army is second to none. You guys are incredible. So yeah, big shout out there. In other headlines, we were hearing Kamoli after this meeting that went down yesterday was going to be named CEO. It hasn't happened, but it might still be coming. Okay, so let's just start there real quick. Too fast, too soon, Trim, or you think this was always in the cards for him? What's your vibe on this whole Kamoli as CEO so quick? Is the bar that low that you could come in less than a probationary period at a standard job, even if you were at McDonald's, all of a sudden you're CEO? Maybe it was the plan all along. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the more that he's kind of settled in, and you see kind of the moves he's making and his kind of stance on transfers and stuff like that, not taking any crap and just, not settling and for what other teams are offering. He gives off that vibe that he could definitely fill in for that role for CEO. It's hard to say, would things have been different if Juntli was still around? Could he have been that guy? But I feel like Juntli's more involved in the sporting side. So for me, Kamoli does give off that vibe. Now, whether it's the right decision or not, we'll have to wait and see if he ends up getting chosen. But he does give off that vibe that he could be the guy that's kind of in between, on the field and obviously ownership. I think he's a good buffer there. So I think if they end up choosing him ultimately in the end, then yeah, it's about getting the right sporting guy to come in to be a sporting director, of course, obviously. So yeah, I can kind of see it, but how it plays out, and it remains to be seen, right?
It kind of feels like this has been the play all along, and
Yeah.
like he's kind of just been brought in and gradually, like, we had to start somewhere. You didn't want to pull a sporting director and say, hey, walk right into this thing right now. It's like, no, he's kind of handled things pretty calmly. I still say through the summer there was, it was not even a 50-50 for me. I'd probably say 70% I was in favor of and liked the way everything was handled. And there was probably 30% and mostly just prices where I was a little left feeling like we could have done a little bit better here. The fact that it went so late into the Mercato was another thing. But again, everything in the end I don't think is awful by any means, but there's some questionable things with some risky moves where we might see Douglas Luiz back. We might see Nico Gonzalez back, where we have to wait and see because that could change the feelings there. But ultimately, Scanavino and Ferraro have needed to go for quite some time. And we were hearing that there was going to be wholesale shakeup. He was going in as CEO. We might get new president. We got Platini. We got Del Piero. Holy smokes. Sign me up. Bring them both, I say, so you get a great mix between the two of them. But no such luck. No president name. There's still rumors, and I'm still hearing word on the street is it's going to be a Frenchman that's coming in as president. Everybody heard the name, Jean-Claude Blanc. Maybe that's him. But nothing has been named after the meeting yesterday. In fact, it went to the opposite section to where they were saying Ferrero will remain. And he has impressed Elkan. Okay. It's impressive how quickly you could fall asleep in a stadium full of 50,000 people. I mean, that is impressive. Other than that, I think both of these guys can go, personally. Okay? But it seems like Scanavino is going to go, and that opens the door for Kamoli. But it still hasn't happened yet. The other thing out of this meeting, okay, is there's another bond that's been taken in by Juventus. And it's going to be over 12 years. We will reach 150 million euros, can reach. It's a variable up to 150 million euros. And it's going to allow for debt restructuring. You are going to see this team apparently reach the financial status they want in the 26-27 season is where things should be clean. We're at a negative 58, somewhere around there. I don't have the exact number in front of me. Somewhere around negative 58 million deficit for the past fiscal year. The year prior was 199. We have steadily been chipping away and bringing it back. But the biggest thing here, if you're comparing us to squads where you want us to be at and competing with and whatnot, our revenue is still at 529 million in that range. And that's probably good considering where Serie A is and what's happening in Serie A. But you're looking at clubs like Real, whatever, they're well into the billions. And we have to bridge that gap. We have to find a way to bridge our revenue gap. That's why that whole Super League thing kicked off. And that's why they were pushing hard. That's why Juve was a part of it. That's why Agnelli was going into it. We have to find a way to bridge that gap, even if we start handling our business right, because it's going to affect the spending and stuff. But, hey, some things are in good spots. But I got to hit you with the Del Piero Platini. What were your thoughts with it? I was praying that, we were going to see one of these guys, because that would give me a strong sign that maybe Elkan isn't so far detached as I feel, if he could pick up on the fact that we need a football guy at the top. What were your thoughts when that rolled around?
Yeah, like obviously it's exciting to hear, and we've heard it before in the past. I believe even going back last season and the season prior, like this has kind of been bandied about the last couple of seasons. Nothing's obviously taken shape yet. Um, I would love it first and foremost. I mean, for me, I think I would prefer Del Piero over Platini. And I think the only reason I say that is because he hasn't stepped into that role yet. And I feel like he can offer something different, whereas Platini's had a history with us and obviously a history with FIFA specifically. And I kind of want to try to avoid that if at all possible, just because, we've had situations in the past, even with Agnelli. So ADP would be just fresh face. And to me, it would just show that like the club is serious about getting back to what it once used to be. Whether they get there or not, it's not the point. It's just, I feel like we've been stuck in like a vortex of just like the middle of nowhere, just middling the last, 5-6 seasons, it feels like, with, revolving door managers and players even. But we need a guy like a figurehead to kind of just step in and represent what Juve is all about. And I feel like Del Piero's clearly that. And, behind the scenes, we hear, he's more of like a political guy and behind the scenes and, CBS and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I just feel like if he really did step up to the plate and decide to take this position, it would show me a lot. Now, how it would turn out, again, would remain to be seen, but it would be, it'd be interesting for sure.
Yeah. Now, before we get to the next topic out of here, Berto, when will the results of the YouTube door be announced? All the best to you. So I believe it's later in October, around the 26th. So the judges there at the Football Content Awards have already all voted. Now it's up to essentially all of the listeners, the viewers, etc. So please go out there and do it. Google Football Content Awards, FCA's voting. Vote for us in the Best Podcast International. And do it from all your devices, right across your entire family, all your friends. If you bump into someone in the street, say, "Excuse me, I need you to do something." Head over to Football Content Awards and vote for these guys. Let's go, everybody.
Just keep voting. That's it. Just keep voting.
Vote. Now, in terms of not getting ADP Platini, I would have loved either one of them. I understand some of the reservations around issues with Platini and FIFA, etc. Took a while. His name finally got cleared. Took a long time, but his name finally got cleared, etc. I just think you would have the best of two worlds. That's why I said if it were me, I'd push for both, because Platini has run in FIFA and he's got the experience. But then you add Del Piero, who's got the allure, we've already heard of some people talking about Chiellini picking up the phone and calling them about coming to Juventus. Well, imagine that's Del Piero on the other line. That's about as big as it gets for Juve, and even Platini, because we started talking about the possibilities of these two. For fans that are older than I am, that lived through the Platini era, he's considered the king of Turin. For me, there's a deeper significance to things that Del Piero was a part of and did, that he is the king of Turin for me. But hey, you might have two kings. Okay? So, hey, I'd use both, to be honest. But Del Piero, it would be fantastic. And like I said, for me, it would be the biggest sign and indicator that Elkan might not be so detached and out of this thing. But he's got to get the right guys in place. Speaking of right guys in place, I would have felt like it was the go-around of us signing Cristiano Ronaldo with the signing we just made, which was Darren Burgess to become director of performance. I gotta say, this was crazy for how many people reached out to me when we signed Darren Burgess. This guy's got 25 years of experience, and he's been stints with the Socceroos, with Liverpool, with Arsenal, with, of course, the Adelaide Crows, and a couple other sides in rugby prior to his football experience, so Australian rules football. And man, the outpour from the we get a lot of support from the Australian community. We love the AJC Army that is the Australian chapter. Incredible how many people reached out and said that just, look, this guy is top of his class. We had Pinu reaching out that said, look, in the comments, you guys are incredible. We had Skippy join in. We had Vittorio on Instagram, Davide Caruso. Like, I'm forgetting so many people that reached out and were just like, man, this guy is legit, the real deal. And he's stepping in to talk about, well, to take care of everything. He's stepping in to take care of fitness, nutrition, injury prevention, rehab recovery, even the psychological aspect of things. This could be the biggest signing we've had in a long time because J Medical has been brutal for years to come. The closest we've had to this was when I can't recall the gentleman's name, but we signed somebody to come in, but he was strictly looking over the physical aspect of things, more so training, and just simply just how we train and whatnot, and looking from the prevention side. But this seems like this guy is locked in, way rounded. He's considered top of his class, and actually like the standard pretty much that these guys in the field look up to and see as their focus, their focal point of where they want to be, what they aspire to be in that professional field. This is crazy. I don't think I've ever seen a trainer like get this much hype over the signing. Even in the summer when we were looking at bringing in Pintus, it was like, okay, that's legit. But this guy, it seems crazy, the outpour. And if you go to the Adelaide Crows fan pages, everybody's typing in the same thing. Huge loss in cap locks. Trim, bigger signing the minute you're giving credit for, or maybe he's getting the credit he needs. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, full disclosure, I don't really know much about him, but like everything I'm hearing sounds amazing. Like you'd think, like you said, it's like we signed Ronaldo all over again, but off the field. And I mean, hey, like who's kidding who? We all know J Medical's been a sore spot for us for years on end, basically since it's been like resurrected and built, right? So I mean, if this guy's going to come in and totally change everything, like the way that we train, the sleeping habits, eating habits, like all that kind of stuff, and it leads to more success on the field and, you know, less injuries, let's, you know, knock on wood, hopefully, injury prevention. I mean, it's a game changer, right? Like it'll just change everything for us, especially with, look at Milik as an example. Like the guy's still injured. It's been it feels like 2 years. I think it's been a year and a half. He's still out. Like this guy's going to come in and kick Milik's ass out the door and just say, you're done. Like, no, we can't have this anymore.
Injured. Darren Burgess arrived to Turin already. When he walked through, he looked at the bed. He goes, guys, this guy's dead. He's like, this guy's not even alive. He's like, he's dead. Yeah. This is a corpse. Lesson number 1. This man is dead. Oh, my God.
He's just going to be going in there, grabbing all the trash and say, nope, out, everything. And he's just going to walk in. Maybe, who knows, maybe he'll revamp even like the gym a bit. Like I know that they did that not too long ago at J Medical, but who knows, maybe he'll walk in and just see like, no, this is all wrong, and just completely change everything. I think that we'll see more of that maybe towards the end of this season and into next. But yeah, just strictly getting in there, getting a guy that's like I said, this world renowned and known for his training ability and kind of how he revamps and restructures clubs in that sense, like seems like a no-brainer. So I just, you know, I'm trying not to get too far ahead of myself. Like I can see it being obviously a positive for us long term, and I think it's going to get to where we want it to, but just let him kind of settle in and go from there.
Yeah. It's hey, what I appreciate about it, if we're going to take anything about it, because obviously we got to wait for Darren Burgess to come in and do the work. But to be honest, 25 years is a long time. That's a lot of experience. And everywhere he's gone, it's been positive. And that's why he's got that. And again, to be considered like where you're published time and time again, and it's seen as educational for others in the field. That's what Pinu brought to us, because he is a professional in the field, and he legit said in the comments to the video where it was announced that this is incredible. And for him, he's very, very excited because he is the standard. He is that upper echelon. So great. And we need it. It's a major area of concern, has been for many years now, at least a handful, if not a little bit more. And we've addressed it. So for Kamoli, this to me is great, because you've got a guy that stepped in the summer and said he's going to be looking at all aspects, all areas of the club. He is an acting general manager. He could soon be the CEO. And he said one of them was going to be the medical facilities and the training and the recovery and stuff. Obviously, we all our ears perked up when we hear that, because we know it's been such a problem. Well, here's some action. So that I can appreciate. And it's not just action. It's like, dude, this is the cream of the crop when it comes down to it, the way everybody's making it seem. So that I can appreciate. You talk the talk, but you're walking the walk in this aspect. So I like it and I appreciate it. Now, Darren Burgess, good luck and Godspeed, man. Holy smokes. You got your work cut out for you, okay?
A lot of work to do. Yeah, exactly.
Now, we get to some of the rumors that have been going around, and you've got Sergei Milinkovic-Savic to Juve in January, and Juve is looking already at the possibility of making this move happen. We're not ever going to get away from this saga, man. It's Berardi, it's Milinkovic-Savic. Trim, hypothetically speaking, how do you feel about Sergei Milinkovic? He's got a contract that's set to expire. A move in January is not out of the question. What do you think? How do you feel about it?
It's like, just, I don't know. It's like the flea that never goes away. You keep scratching, and it's just like keeps coming back. Like, I don't know. It's, for me, it seems like it's too little, too late. I mean, the guy's, still young. He's 30 years old, so he's not old by any means. Traveled over there. He had a couple of, by Saudi Pro League standards, had a couple of good seasons in 23, 24, 24, 25. Looks like this past year, even this year, it doesn't look like he's played much. I think he's only played like 5-10 games, something like that. But I don't know what the reason for that is. Maybe injuries. But yeah, I don't know. I start seeing this and reading this. I don't know. I think it's kind of a panic move personally. Not even so much like, I'm not so worried about like spending the money in the fee, because I feel like it'll be a pretty decent fee to get him. But it's almost like we got Koop, and Koop was SMS for us. Like, we were supposed to have this guy, and this guy went to Saudi, and instead it's like we ended up turning our attention and focus, and we got Koop. It's almost like, I feel like they could be two almost similar profiles in that sense, but it's like we already have a guy who's on, decent wages, and we paid a high fee for, and he's not performing. I know this won't be the same thing because he's going to come in for a lot less money, but I feel like it's just, we gotta turn our attention to somebody else in Europe. Personally,
I feel like when Milinkovic-Savic ended up choosing to go over there,
yeah,
at that time, at that moment, it really hurt it hurt my view of him in terms of his ambition and what could have been. And now I feel like I don't think I'm ready to give you that out and just be like, oh yeah, you can come back, whatever. He's not blowing the roof off the place over there either, and hasn't been. And now I just feel like it's an old target that went a different way, and now we should kind of shut the door. I really think, despite what's going on with Koopmeiners, despite the money, despite all this, like, for me, I kind of, it rubbed me the wrong way when he ends up making that move at that time, at that moment, and we're pushing, and the time was opening up, everything was opening up for it to go down, and he jumped so fast to go there. It's like, okay, man, that's a level you're at those years, at that stage when you can make that jump and you don't. I even questioned him for not trying to get out of Lazio sooner when he was kind of on the up, because I'm like, man, what's your ambition? So for me, it's probably a no, and it's an old no. Despite whatever's happening in our midfield, I'm not into jumping on that for Sergei Milinkovic-Savic.
Well, the other thing too is like, what are we hoping to achieve? What are we hoping to get when we look for a guy like that? Like, his defensive numbers are good. So do we want a midfielder that's more defensive minded, or do we want someone that can have a little bit more offensive push? Like, I know we've got Adzic and Miretti, but me personally, like, if we're going for a guy who's got more experience and older, I kind of want someone who's a little bit more offensive driven based on what I'm seeing.
When he was at Lazio, he was way more offensive. Like,
that's what I mean.
He was like, very offensive. Like he had free reign there, and he was scoring. He was bagging big goals, and But I feel like it's not the same things that got me excited at that point for Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, and I
Yeah,
don't know if it's even, are we hanging on to a previous target that
that's
was
what I think.
different
Yeah,
than
right.
what you'd actually be going for now? So for me,
Exactly.
I'm kind of like, no. I'm just like, no. I
Yeah.
think it's a
That,
little bit of a
that's kind
risk
of
that doesn't need to be taken.
that's kind of what I was getting at though. Like I feel
Yeah.
like he may have changed as a player, and that's why like we're thinking it's SMS from like 4 or 5 years ago when he's got more mileage on his body. He might have changed, and we don't need another Locatelli type of player. Ideally, like it would be nice to have one. Don't get me wrong, but we need a guy who's a little bit more offensive, and I think you could find that elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, speaking of our midfield, Locatelli, Koopmeiners on the chopping block. This came randomly earlier in the week, and Locatelli is no longer untouchable. Juve will look to move if the right offer comes in. Koopmeiners, hey, sink or swim. Look, I'd tell everybody, I'm just the messenger. I'm sharing the news. When it comes to Locatelli, I haven't heard or gathered anything different around Turin that is still the same as I've always shared, which is at Juventus, in their world, he is held in high regards. Okay? I'm not buying that one too quickly. But it's tricky when you're talking about would Juve accept a strong offer on Locatelli? I believe both things can exist. I believe they can hold
Yeah.
him in high regard, but I still believe that they could be persuaded to sell. When it comes to Koopmeiners, I am very, very sure, okay, that they would listen to offers based on how things are going. The biggest problem that the media hasn't touched, and they're saying that Juve chose to fully back and do everything for Koopmeiners this year, and there was a change of heart from Giuntoli to this man. Bullshit.
Yeah.
They haven't addressed the biggest thing. If Juve even wanted to sell him this past summer, they couldn't because of how much is still on the books for this guy. Depending how his performances go, Juventus might very much be in the same position this summer, that the offers come in are going to be at a loss. What's the one thing Juve was unwilling to do this past summer? Take a hit, take a
Hmm.
loss. So intentions aren't necessarily going to matter. It's going to come down to the Chicoria, everybody. That's what's going to come down to. The money. Money talks, bullshit walks. So right now the media painting a picture that isn't accurate. It's going to come down to the money. But when we talk about these two, Trim, Koopmeiners, it's sink or swim this year, man. Otherwise, yeah, you do have to try to move or try to find a solution. It might be a loan into a purchase with some incentives to try and get it. Like, you're in a very ugly spot when it comes to Koopmeiners. And this guy's got no excuses for me. When you're playing in a pivot now, you're in the midfield. Like, this is last chance saloon. If Tudor decides to go to a new formation, which we'll talk about in a bit, that's it, man. That's last resort. But for Locatelli, there's some out there that say they'd sell Koopmeiners, or they keep Koopmeiners and sell Locatelli first. Huh?
Yeah.
Trim, how do you feel about this situation around these two?
Look, I love the guy Coop. I want him to succeed. I feel like, there's something missing from and a huge disconnect from what he was at Atalanta to what he is now with Juve. You've mentioned it, and I'm starting to possibly think that this is the reason, could be the weight of the shirt. It could just be the weight of the shirt, the expectations put on the guy for the price tag that we paid. It's just weighing this guy down like an anchor, and he can't get rid of it. So I'm running out of any excuses or anything to say about this guy. Like, I'm at the point too where, like I said, I want him to succeed. I want him to play well here and stick around. But it's put up or shut up time, and it's
Yeah.
there's no more excuses. Like, I've said I want to see him in a 3-man midfield if we ever try it, just to see like what it would look like him out wide on the left side. But again, if it's more of the same of what we're seeing, it's not going to be good, and they're gonna end up moving him. As for Loca, there's just too much kind of up in the air in the sense that like he has to agree to a move. I do believe that Juve, if a strong enough offer came in, I mean, they're going to say yes. They've said yes on bigger offers to other bigger name players in the past. There's no way they're just going to keep this guy just because he's Juventino. You know, they love him in the room. Like, I get all that stuff, but if a big enough offer came in, anybody's sellable at this point, right? I mean, we can all agree.
That's
maybe
the
maybe
feelings,
one, maybe
yeah.
two guys. Yeah, right.
When it comes to Koopmeiners and Locatelli, like, I mean, it's crazy how many people battled me when I said Locatelli is critical to this Juventus team. There was a lot of people that fought me on. I said, guys, it's not even close. And they're like, no, Koopmeiners is going to take that spot from Locatelli. I'm like, bullshit. There is, based on what? What have you seen that says Koopmeiners is going to take that spot from him? You know, we're gonna get into this here. Hold on a second here. So Loca and Koopmeiners. I gave Koopmeiners the benefit of the doubt, and I took all his season numbers last year. Locatelli's been such a disaster this year that I only took the whatever it is, 200 and whatever minutes he's got this year, 278, 290. This is just a measurable. That's Koopmeiners' entire season last year, by the way.
It's not even close.
Carrying the ball there, progressive passes, dual everything measurable to this guy is just like it. And key passes, the only reason you're seeing that is because Koopmeiners was force-fed in an attacking spot up there. But I'm fine with Locatelli not having key passes based on how he plays if that gives Thuram the freedom to roam and get higher up the pitch. It allows the other guys to do what they need to do. But this ain't even close. No, this ain't even close. And then you want to get into I said it. I go, if you tell me Locatelli has no impact on this team, it's crazy. Let's just look at the heat maps. I told you. I said the second this guy comes in, Locatelli, or he leaves, you lose your focal point. This is from just this season in matches. Look at Koopmeiners' heat map. There is nothing consistent about it. No consistency about it. Like, it is scattered. It's absolutely everywhere. It's light everywhere. That's why when he's there next to Thuram, it's pretty much only Thuram. That's it.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, there's nothing there. There is nothing there. Anybody that's fighting that fight still, that he's going to take the spot from Koopmeiners or something like that. I don't see it. Not only do I not see it, I can't understand how you'd make that fight. Locatelli is far more critical to Juventus than Koopmeiners. It isn't even close. If you want to talk about offensive stats, keep this in mind because only one of those guys has played higher up the field. Koopmeiners doesn't lead him in any offensive categories. Check that one off, okay? For the only guy out of the two that's actually played in an advanced role. Then you want to get to midfield numbers. Long balls, Koopmeiners hasn't even attempted any. So he shockingly has a 50% success rate. Locatelli's got an 84% success rate on long balls. You want to get into crossing? I'll give Koopmeiners the benefit of the doubt there because he takes corner kicks and they probably consider that crossing, and that's why his number's down to 25%. Interceptions, higher average goes to Locatelli. Tackles per game, higher average goes to Locatelli. Gets dribbled past, they're only separated by 0.2, so it's the same. Clearances, way more Locatelli. Block shots, more for Locatelli. Successful dribbles, Koopmeiners hasn't attempted to dribble anybody. And Locatelli has a 50% success rate. And Koopmeiners is 0 because he hasn't even attempted it. Ground duels won, 72% for Locatelli, 47% for Koopmeiners. Aerial duels won, 75% Loca, 50% for Koopmeiners. Possession lost, pretty much the same. 7 on average for Cope, 8 on average for Loca. Fouls, Locatelli actually fouls people less than Koopmeiners. 1.3 fouls per game to 0.3 for Loca. Fouls earned, higher average goes to Locatelli than Koopmeiners. There is every measurable you could possibly think of. So if your blinkers aren't working, because I say just the eye test, you could tell when he comes in, it's different, and Juve has a reference point. Some still argue me on that. Well, every measurable you could find, it's not even close. Locatelli is, and my God, Gio, let's not even get started on the hair. Way better hair here, Loca. Loca's cut the locks. Loca's got the locks. Listen, Locatelli is not a problem at Juve. I say this to the fan base because I feel like he'll never win the fan base. It isn't Locatelli's fault that nobody can take the position from him. That's the only thing I could say to the fan base. It isn't Locatelli's fault, and you don't need to hate him, that nobody can take that role from him. That's not his fault. Yeah. If Locatelli ended up being a bench player for Juventus, which I think that kind of level would be fine to be a bench player, a rotational player. I'd be ecstatic if we had a guy that could take that over and we have Locatelli on the bench that could come in. I'd be ecstatic. But the thing is that nobody's been able to take the spot from him. And he is well clear of anybody trying to do it. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, no, the stats back it up. Like you said, the eye test, you can just see it. It's just more, there's more of a calming presence with him in there, with or without the ball. The second he gets the ball, it's night and day difference with Loca as opposed to Koop. Like you said, Koop doesn't even try to dribble past guys. He just always tries to dish it off. And then to the point of the crossing as well, like he hugs the flank, so he's going to have more cross attempts, that's for sure, than Loca. Loca's more playing central because that's his role. He's as a midfielder, he's playing more centrally, right? But yeah, it's, I think he gets a lot of flack because there aren't guys that can supplant him and put him on the bench as a rotational piece, which in a stacked midfield or in a stacked UA squad that we all hope to one day get to. Like, yeah, it would be nice to have him as a luxury off the bench, and maybe down the road in a year or two, if he sticks around and we end up getting guys in that can supplant him, right? But no, it's night and day.
Now that my Loca prop has ended, okay, now that that's ended, Koopmeiners, get your shit together. We are going to talk about the midfield, I'm sure, as we get to the big game.
Yes.
Some have said this could be a season-defining section of the schedule this early on. Is that a reach, Trim, or do you think that that's actually got some weight to it to say that this is a season-defining section of matches this early on? So Atalanta, Villarreal, AC Milan, then obviously international break, but then Como, Real Madrid, Lazio, Udinese. Tricky part of the schedule, an international break in between. We might get some injuries coming out of it. Is it too soon, you think, to call it a season-defining section, or what do you think?
For me, it just depends, because if you're taking into account both competitions, or you're just taking into account strictly Serie A, because I can see it from a Serie A standpoint that this is a big stretch, because you've got Milan, or today Atalanta, you've got Milan next week, you've got Como, and then you've got Lazio, Udinese. Those are not easy fixtures. Then the added layer of sprinkling in Villarreal and Real Madrid in Champions League, where we started off with a draw against Dortmund, right? So, I mean, it just really depends how you look at it. I would say from the standpoint, like from the Serie A standpoint, yes, it's a crucial stretch because, okay, we haven't played Napoli yet. We had the one match against Inter, so there's some bigger games to come down the road, but those are not easy fixtures. And like I said, to sprinkle in midweek matches with, okay, you get a 1 week international break in between. But I think it's fair to say, like, this will tell us a lot, if anything. If it's not a crucial part of the schedule for the season outcome and outlook, I think it's just more, it will tell us a lot about our group, and specifically Tudor. We can't stress enough how much it's going to tell us about him if he's willing to adapt, willing to make some changes in terms of the formation and roster player personnel. Like, it's a big stretch for sure, no doubt.
Yeah. So you got Mixed feelings even in the chat. LJJ, no way, it's too early. Cugino Eddie, not at all. This stretch will define who we are as a team. Suarez, no, correct. 6 season-defining games potentially. Alex Juve, 50-50. You can lose with Real Madrid, but if you aim top Serie A, you can't lose versus Milan or Como. And Como is hard to beat. Yeah. This is going to be, I think... As far as it's mixed feelings, because as far as season defining, I mean, it could potentially be, but I think it's more defining us as a team. Agreed. And I'm going to stick more to what you said, Trim, because we will know what we have in Igor Tudor. Today could be that sign, because we are coming off 3 matches where we've seen some clear shortcomings, you know, especially in the midfield, which... I say it all the time. That's where games are won and lost. The defense breaks down if the midfield isn't intact. The attack has no support or balance if the midfield isn't intact. Should Tudor have the balls to go after it today and make that change? He actually addressed it in the presser yesterday, claiming that, hey, this, you know, he essentially claimed that when it comes to the squad here and everything, we have been working on a new formation. Okay, so why are you going into a game that for me screams, get that midfield set up? Get that midfield set up and locked in. No balls. It's going to be interesting. We're going to talk about Tudor. First, I have to get everybody's thoughts on Tudor's words on Cambiaso. Because his presser, he confirmed things we know going into this game. Chico Conceição out. He's not on the squad list. Shagrova trying to reach fitness. So we'll talk about projections and everything. But talked about Cambiaso. He said the same thing verbatim that a bunch of us have been saying here around the AJC, and that's he's got to find consistency.
Yeah.
But where he upset the fan base was that he could play for top clubs and proceeded to name Real Madrid, Liverpool, etc. and said he could play for top clubs. And everybody said, brother, he's playing for Juventus. You are the coach of Juventus. It struck a nerve with fans. Did it strike a nerve with you? Did you think it was weird?
No, because I'm not thinking of the context in that way. Like, I just would like to hope and assume that he's referring, like, we are a big club as well. I think he knows that, so I don't think he has to really state it. He's just trying to say that, like, if he leaves Juventus, there are other big clubs out there. We can't be that naive and think that we are the only big club in the world of football. There are other big clubs, whether we like it or not. So I think he's coming at it from that standpoint. The fact that he had to rattle off all those names and teams, though, that it's kind of funny. Like, he probably could have just been like, yeah, he could play for other big clubs and just leave it there. The fact that he named specific teams is, yeah, I could see why it would be a sore spot for some fans. But again, it's just how you interpret his words and how you think about it. But for me, it didn't really bother me in the slightest. Actually, what he said about Cambiaso in general, like, he is a streaky player. When he wants to play and he's at the top level, he's one of, or could be one of the best wingbacks out there. But he's too inconsistent that you can't call him that, no matter how much we would all love to. Like, he's on our club. We want him to play well, obviously. We want him to succeed. But, you know, I think also, to be fair too, if I'm not mistaken, our old buddy Max Allegri used to say a lot of the same about Cambiaso, because he had a lot of praise for him at the time and wanted him to succeed, and he wanted to force feed him in there. But even Max could see his shortcomings and was mentioning that he's very inconsistent. So, yeah, he's just gotta put it together more often, and you know, just to show why he could be a top player.
Yeah, if I'm looking at that whole presser and everything, I think the words chosen were a bit strange, but I understood what he was trying to say, and that's why I wasn't fired up. He's basically trying to say what we have said on the show countless times. Cambiaso is amongst the best of the best, but right now, it's an on his day type player is what he is. Yeah. On his day, he's amongst the best. That's why you get certain outfits, certain people jumping on things. Cambiaso, the best fullback in the world. Okay, but then for 5 games, he's a ghost.
Right.
Tudor just called it for what it is. Right now, he is an on-his-day player.
Yep.
I've been a lot different about what I've been saying about Cambiaso. Quite frankly, he pisses me off. I love the player, great player, but on his day, you got to find some type of consistency. The fact that Tudor chose to name those clubs and said top club, like, he didn't even have to do that. I think he should have just left it as a player thing. Like, Cambiaso could be amongst the best players in his position on his day. And then just go to consistency. I really don't know why he chose to go that route or even name these clubs, but my guess is he's talking about Champions League contenders. And to say that the best of the best right now, and if we were to be honest, would you say Juve's side right now, Juve's team right now, we could win Champions League? We're a contender for the Champions League? No, we would be a dark horse.
Yeah.
If anything. You know? And that's the reality. But I can see people getting fired up about that because he didn't have to go there. But I understood what he was trying to say, so I'm not fired up. Okay? But Cambiaso, he fires me up. Get your shit together, brother. Get your shit together. Now, the game. We got to get into this. March 14th, 2018. Where were you?
Fuck. I was trying to think back to that day, and I'm like, why do I not even remember this game at all? Like, I know the squad and the goal scorers, obviously, in that match, but it's been that long. Like, we'll get into it more about the teams, but it's just... Yeah, it's crazy.
Mama, Papa's house. Got a nice panin, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Some provolone, some mortadella, a little prosciutto. Two panins, okay? Sit down, table, nice. Yeah. Okay? Even a Peroni with Papa.
Beautiful.
And I was watching the last time Juve beat Atalanta at home.
That's crazy, man.
If you would have told me March 14, 2018, sitting there, hey, for 7 years, you ain't going to beat these guys in your house, I would have said, hey, vacácate, va. Vacácate. Here we are. Okay? That's the last time. It's the last time. Anybody, okay, you want to take a stab at the starting lineup? Chat, you want to take a stab at the starting lineup the last time Juve beat them at home?
Yeah, like, I don't know it offhand. Obviously, I was privy to seeing who it was, but like, you got the usual cast of characters in there around that time. So I believe Dybala was in there, Higuain was in there.
Yep.
That midfield back then too was a little bit like, it was towards the tail end of the glory days, and we were kind of transitioning into what would have been eventually Pjanic and all those guys, and some surprise names, actually. It's kind of funny to go back and look, but to think like that's the last time we beat them at the Allianz Stadium is just crazy to me. But these teams notoriously were known to draw like every year. Like, there was a couple years there in a row where both fixtures were draws. So, yeah, it was. There you go.
There's your last side to do it. So Buffon, Lichtsteiner, Benatia was phenomenal that year, man. He was so good that year. Chiellini.
Asamoah on the left.
Asamoah, Matuidi, Pjanic, Costa, Dybala, Mandzukic, Higuain. My God. Wow. Those were the days, man.
Yeah.
You could see there, it was a 2-0 victory. Matuidi, Higuain with the goals. And the kits that we wore that year too. The 17-18 home. Come on. One of the oh, come on, where is it?
They were all classics. Like, all 3 shirts that year were nice.
That's one of the best damn home kits we've had. You know?
Yeah.
At first, this kind of bothered me, how they were high and stuff, but it actually, as time went on, doesn't bother me at all. Just a beautiful kit. Beautiful kit. That team was strong as hell, man. Strong as hell. But that's the last time we got it done at home. We're going to start getting into this fixture, okay? You've got Juve winning 10 of 11 at home right now. We're winning
Yeah.
10 of the last 11. Funny enough, the only blemish there, guess who? The humbling from these guys, these
4-0.
pricks, 4-0 that
Yep.
saw Mota get the axe.
Yep.
Atalanta unbeaten in 7 appearances in Allianz Stadium. Versus Juve in their last 11 home and away, they've only lost once to us in the last 11 times, period, that we played them. This is league competition as well.
Yep.
In Serie A, Juve obviously 3 wins, 1 draw after a very intense week of 3 matches in 7 days. We now get a week's rest to go into this one. We did show fatigue versus Verona for sure, but we didn't make any adjustments to try and compensate. When you get to Atalanta, 2 draws, 2 wins in the league. They got blown up in Champions League opener, but that was, of course, to PSG. But they responded with a thrashing of Torino. Torino's trash anyways. But, yeah, when you're going through injuries, well, they get a boost because Lookman has settled the dispute, settled everything. But he's got to get fitness now. That's been an ugly situation. So he's got to regain fitness. But Juric does have an injury list to deal with. Ederson, Scalvini, Kolasinac, Saluski, Hien's even questionable. Scamacca, these guys. And for us, it's Miretti and, of course, Eric Milik, of course. So it's those two and Chico Conceição now added to that list that can't make it in here. If you're going to go with the projected lineups, we'll hit you with that right now so that you could get a look at it. This is what we're expecting from Atalanta. It's very makeshift, at least in the heart of the back there. Jim City, Kosunu, that's nothing new. Carnesecchi could very well be a Superman in this one. We've seen way less talented keepers that have played like that have made something happen there that could do that. So now he's in there. When you get to the midfield, you've got Zappacosta, Derun, Musa, and Bellanova. Pasalic is listed in here. And then Di Catalari with Kristovic up top. That's kind of what's out there for projections. I haven't seen anything drastically different. When you get to Juve, we've seen 2. So we've seen the Sky Sport version where you see Di Gregorio, and also Perin was rumored to maybe get the start in this game, but I haven't seen him on any projections. So you've got Di Gregorio, you've got Kelly, Bremer, Kalulu, you got McKennie, Locatelli, Thuram, Cambiaso, Zhigrova, Yildiz, and David. This was from Sky Sport, so claiming Zhigrova would make his debut start. Gatti was going to get benched, Kalulu moved back, McKennie as your right wing back, everything else remains the same. Then you get to Giovanni Albanese, and he gives us this one, which is probably a little bit closer to being in line with what Tudor said in his presser about Conceição having physical issues, Zhigrova still trying to get up to snuff, so Adzic getting the start. We know Tudor loves Kalulu and Gatti on the right side for whatever reason. He is fixated on these guys working the right side, and then we know he likes Openda. Right? Now I'm going to ask you, out of these 2 for Juve, what would you do, Trip? Which one do you like better? Which route would you want us to go?
So with just these lineups, I prefer the Sky Sport lineup because I like McKennie in there and Kalulu at the back instead of Gatti. I don't like Kalulu as a wingback. I don't think it works. We've been saying that for a while. I don't know how his eye test doesn't see that, Mr. Tudor, but anyway, I mean, that's the lineup I prefer of the 2, but what I would actually do is I want that formation change. We've been saying this now for a few weeks. I want to see 4-man backline. I don't care how they set up the rest of it, but the 3-man midfield is what we need, especially for a game like today. Atalanta likes to do high press, or Juric specifically, high press, aggressive, man-to-man coverage. They're going to use the wings and try to beat us on the flanks with transition game. We need a strong midfield to break up those plays from Atalanta, and their backline can be exposed because they've got a couple of key injuries back there. So I'd like to see preferably 4-3-3, but even if it's like any combination, 4-2-3-1, anything along those lines, I would like to see. But based on everything we know about Tudor and his reluctancy to actually switch the formation, I think he'll go with one of those projected lineups, and I think it would be closer to Sky Sport, but that's the one I prefer.
There you go. There you go. And Paolo joining us now. Hey, we needed a three-man midfield on the panel, so we brought you in
Yeah.
here. Glad to see you. Um, we are just literally getting into the projected lineups. So we've had two that we've seen. Which one did you prefer? Do you need me to run them down again? I think you've seen them both, but I'll pull them up again and we can take a look here. Yeah, when you get to this here, and let me get Cam in here, so Paolo's in here. So this is one where you could see everything's pretty much the same. Kalulu Ngati right side, Locatelli Thuram, Adzic up there with Openda starting. This is from Albanese, and then you get your next one, which was Sky Sport, claiming that Jagrova would start, and that McKennie would get the nod at right wing back, with Kalulu taking over for Gatti at the back. And David getting the start. Which is your preference out of those two? Do you want to see something completely different? Because I've got something completely different. This was mine for this game. Yeah. This is mine for this game against Atalanta. Di Gregorio in goal. Kalulu your right back. Rugani next to Bremer. Cambiaso as your left back. McKennie, Locatelli, Thuram in the middle of the park, so you can win that battle. And Adzic, Yildiz, and Jonathan David up top. 4-3-2-1. Let's go. What do you think?
Yeah, good morning, guys. I saw you guys talking about the lineups, and I had to hop on. I like what you've got here, Bert. Last night we were talking about having four at the back. We talked about three in the middle. I think that's the answer. I'm really concerned about Tudor not having more control of the midfield. And I think what you've got there works. We were also talking to Omar last night. We were texting on the channel, and he had a variation of what you had. And I still think that four at the back and three in the middle. I think he had. I think we were joking about having Cambiaso in the middle with Loca and Thuram, but I think we have to win back the middle. So I like what you had at the last one. The first one with Adzic in there seems a little premature. That looks like you're asking for it. I wouldn't take a risk against Atalanta today, but I think we need to go with four at the back and three in the middle, and it doesn't look like either one of those is going to happen.
Yeah, it looks like the one that Albanese's got is probably the closest. Right. We are going to talk about this game, why I'd go my route. Obviously, some key issues that we're going to get into, because right now we're going to ask you guys, what are the keys to the game for Juventus to find success, to find that victory? What are your keys to victory? What's your X factor? And give me maybe a player to watch, you think, from Juve and maybe even Atalanta. And let's kick this off with Trim. Fire yours, we'll get to Paulo, and then I'll give mine at the end, which will explain a lot about my lineup.
So yeah, like my keys to victory for me is going to be like our front four, potentially our front three, depending on the combination of, if it's Jagrova, David, and Yildiz, or whoever they put in there. Like, they have to expose that back line, because like I touched on, like they've got a couple of key injuries in the back line. Tien is a good player, but he's questionable. Kolasinac is usually a pain in our ass, and he's not playing. So, like I said, there's a lot of things, like we can expose them at the back, especially with the way that Juric likes to play with high press and quick transition. I think if we have a strong midfield, we can help advance the ball up top, and we can start to use David and Jagrova and Yildiz a little bit more, and we can actually start to see what they have to offer. Like I touched on the injuries for Atalanta. And at the end of the day, it's the midfield. The midfield has to step up for us. So it's up to Tudor to put the right three back there, or if he's going 3-4-2-1, like he's got to have the right combination. That's why I like the Sky Sport lineup with McKennie instead of Kalulu on that right side, just to kind of offer up a little bit of change. X factors for me, depending who gets in there, but if Adzic gets in there, I think he could be an X factor. But to Paulo's point, I don't know if I'd be comfortable with starting him in that spot. The midfield has to be an X factor today if we want to do anything. And they also have to contribute to my third X factor, which is defending. Like our defending hasn't been the greatest in the last little stretch here. So the midfield helps with that. It's not just all on our back line. So I really think that's got to be the X factors. And the final one is be ready to run, because these guys are high pressing and they're just going to be dogging us all game. So we got to be ready to have our work boots ready to go, and we gotta match their intensity. So those are the X factors for me.
Do you got players to watch?
Yeah, I'm gonna say one from each side. I'm gonna go with David for Juve. Obvious, he's got a microscope on him. He's got to step it up today specifically. And for Atalanta, it's always Carnesecchi for me, because he's been an Achilles heel for us in the past, and if he has a game where he's not up to snuff, it could help us out a little bit. So I'm gonna go Carnesecchi and David.
There you go. And Paolo, let's get to your keys to success for Juve, and maybe some players to watch. What are your thoughts going into this one?
For me, it's Tudor. Those are my notes. The players are sponges right now, and I think Tudor's responsibility is to get them covering the field and playing their best. We've seen holes in the middle the past few games, and like Trim says, if you have a control of the middle, if you had, let's say, 3 across, which is something I've been pining for, they can sit at the top of the box, not in the box, with everybody else watching those shots come in from outside. So I think it's all on Tudor in the midfield. He decides with the formation. And I think the X factors right now, I've got David. David's a guy who, as much as I like him, we haven't really seen a lot out of him. We know what he can do with holding up, with moving the ball around. He's willing to move left, to move right, to sit back, to let guys go forward and feed them, to receive the ball in the box. We really need him, especially if Vlahovic goes in January, which I think that's to be determined still, but we do need him. So the X factor is, does Tudor use these sponge players and set up a lineup, set up a middle that helps control the game better and not have those big holes? And will David, if he starts or when he comes on, will he do what we've hoped he can do and perform? We need him to. And as far as Atalanta, I don't have anything on those guys. I think what's interesting too is Zagrova, because Zagrova is a guy who's got a lot of fanboy attention right now. I think he's interesting and exciting. He's different than Conceição, but he can still do a lot on that right side. So we'll see if he comes in, and I think if he does, we might reap the rewards of what he's promised to offer.
There you go. Well, I'll give you mine. Very simple. Number one, matching energy and physicality. Juric sides, every single game what's going to happen. Now on a week's rest, I don't want to see us dropping in that in that facet of the game. We need to match them for intensity, physicality, and energy. That can't be a drop. So you have to contest them all over the pitch. Probably one of the reasons Tudor feels comfortable, maybe not going to a new formation that he said he has been trying out in practice, is because of the fact they play literally the same setup, 3-4-2-1. So he's probably thinking we're going to man up across the pitch and there's no need to change. Well, just because of how it draws out on paper doesn't mean it's going to play out that way on the pitch. So I still stick to my guns and say in the midfield, you need to win that battle. That's going to be a big push for us in getting control and going the distance. So that's number one, energy, physicality. Number two, the tempo of our ball movement needs to increase. Because Juric, he's been around Serie A, he knows the blueprint, and funny enough, the blueprint hasn't changed if you want to give us fits. Box out the flanks, force the midfield to act, force the midfield to pull the strings, force the midfield to create, to make something happen. Well, that hasn't happened, and it hasn't been happening in a two-man. That's another reason why you get a third man in there, to try and give yourself that edge, that numerical advantage, right? And to say that we're just level with them on 3-4-2-1, no, add that extra guy in there and take control, right, of this game. Number three, balance. It's all about balance, and that falls on Tudor. Balance, balance, balance. If things start to go sour in terms of the control in this match, and we can't control this game for a healthy amount of share, or we're off tilt, defending too much, or having to like really open up just to get attacking sequences in, he's going to have to pull some strings and get that balance in here. Balance is key for this game. We cannot continue down the path we have been going on, which is conceding not just goals, everybody. In the matches we played so far, we have allowed 63 shots on our target. Do you understand that this is not sustainable, and that is insanity to only play this many games and have 63 shots allowed? That is screaming for change, and it has to do with balance. And for me, when I present to you my lineup of the 4-3-2-1, I see it as balanced for this particular matchup. The way Juric plays, some people might not agree with McKennie being in the middle of the park for me. The reason he's there is because of the battles when you face a Juric side. So McKennie would be my pick. Would we be sacrificing something? I would love to see. I still have Adzic further up, which can assist. Create almost a diamond with those three, if you want to call it, which give Yildiz still the freedom to roam. And you still have Jonathan David, who drops back and gives an option. So we have to play to our opponents. We have to anticipate, and we have to be proactive, not reactive. And that's the route I go. For Rugani, well, Rugani's had 6 matches against Atalanta. He's got 2 clean sheets and a goal. So, you know what? Let's go with it. Let's go with it. Let's treat it like Vegas, baby. Let's roll those die, throw them down, okay? We're at the craps table. It's time to go. It's time to go with the numbers. Look, this is going to be an interesting one to watch. If I'm going to give you players to watch, for us, it's Yildiz. We're going to live and die by this guy and the influence he brings. But even if the attention ramps up on it, which we fully anticipate, now it's up to the other guys to take advantage of the fact he's got the double team, the triple team sometimes. So now guys like Thuram, guys that we were talking about earlier, Cambiaso, these guys have to be big, but it all stems from Yildiz. So Yildiz creates that first bit of nervousness, that unease with the opposition. Everybody else down the line has to take advantage. But it goes for Yildiz. For them, Pasalic or potentially Bellanova. Because we use Cambiaso so much to get advanced and everything, we have to be aware of Bellanova and him finding space in behind, maybe starting to attack that space. And Pasalic, if we shut him down, we give them fits and nightmares. So those are the guys to kind of watch out for. Prediction time, though, as we get to this game. Everybody, let's go. Prediction time. Final score. A tiebreaker. And give me your early man of the match. If you fellas will allow, I'd like to get mine out of the way first. And I'll just go.
The host with the most, go ahead.
Ho, easy. The ones, while I say Yildiz is our player to watch, he's not going to be my man of the match call. But I'm going 2-1 Juventus win. I am going to say that your goal scorers will be Jonathan David and Kefren Thuram. And I am going to say that your early man of the match is Gleison Bremer in today's match. That is my prediction. That is my call. Who wants to take the second spot and go now? Trim?
Paulo, if you want.
Paulo, fire away.
All right. Last year I said this a lot. I'll believe it when I see it. Right now, what I'm seeing, I can't believe, and I'm not crazy about it. I would say Tudor would be the man of the match, but he's not on the field. He's next to it on the sideline. I think I'm going to go 2-2. I'm reluctant to, and I don't know if I'm even capable of saying Juve will lose. I don't know if I have the words. I think it's going to be 2-2, and I think we're going to struggle with the same problems. If Tudor doesn't change the formation, if he doesn't solve the middle, if he still has 3 forwards and 2 wingers, 5 guys all hanging around the top of the box, crowding the sidelines and trying to play up the sidelines. We're going to lose the middle. Atalanta's going to have a day. So I'm worried, and I think it's going to be a tie. I think 2-2 is my call here. I've got I think there'll be a late equalizer by Dusan. And if he starts, I think something just fell there. And if he starts, I say the man of the match will be Digre, because I think he's due. I think he's got to wake up, and he could make some big saves on a Atalanta team we know will have no fear and come at us. They won 4-0 last year, and I know Gasparini isn't here now, and the team is not the exact same, but the facts are they came in our home last year and won 4-0 when we needed a win. So I'm concerned, and I think Tudor has to step up. I'm calling 2-2, and I'm trying to be nice about it.
There you go. There you go. Trimmy, what do you got? We got a win, a draw. Where are you at?
So historically speaking, the last 10 matches in Serie A, Juve, Atalanta, 5 draws, 3 losses for Juve, 2 wins. So it tells you how it's been the last little while for us. But
we
I'm
are
not picking
due.
a draw.
I like that.
I'm not picking a draw. What do you think this is? No, never. We never pick a draw. We never pick Juve to lose. So I'm going 2-1. I'm going David and Vlahovic off the bench to get the late winner to make it 2-1. And I'm going to go with early man of the match. I'm actually going to say Locatelli, because I think that the midfield steps it up today, and I think Loca's going to have a hell of a match, helping us progress the ball and move it up to our forwards, and he's gonna be crucial for us today. So I'm gonna go Locatelli, early man of the match.
Big call there. Big call. I like it. And we've got a lot of positive vibes in the chat here. If we're gonna hey, Rocky, we got Rocky on the show.
We got the
today.
Rocky cam going. I promised some Rocky today, and there he is.
Rocky, get your gear on, because I'm picking you over Koopmeiners if it comes down to it in the game. All right, so
Rocky said 4-0 Juve. So
be ready. Be ready. We got positivity in the chat here. I like it. 2-1 from Cugino Eddie with Yildiz and Vlahovic. We've got 3-1. A McKinney brace. 2-1. Yildiz Openda. We got a 3-2 with Openda being man of the match from Cliff. We got 3-0 from Chris. Man of the match going to Cambiaso. 3-2. Fino alla fine. With the same problems and thoughts, Yildiz MVP. So Sikoko saying we're essentially going to deal with the same frustrations that we have had, but we're going to come out on top. Swarit's going 2-1 or 3-2. Tight games. Ryan's feeling a draw, and Trim gave us the numbers. Pretty valid. Adam's going 3-1. Alex Juve 2-0. And Berto sings you're as cold as ice. That means Jonathan David bags one. Let's go. And Yildiz. I love it. 2-0 Kelly and David. MVP Kelly. 2-1 Juve, Openda, and Thuram goals. We got a 1-0 from RB Comps. We got a 2-0 from Wing of Winter. Hey, positive vibes. We need them. It's been a long time since we've taken care of business against them in our house. Today's the day to do so. 1 week's rest. A lot of excuses are out the window. So I don't want to hear anything. I just need to see it. You got to put it together. And that's a great kit there with the Pogba on the back there. Look at that. Nice.
Let's win the middle, man. We got to win the middle. I want the middle back.
Win the middle.
Tudor. Win the middle.
I can't help but something that Trim said kind of struck me in his prediction, where he says, come on, what are we doing? We always predict wins. We don't predict losses. That's almost like a trivia question, because when it comes to match day, I'm always optimistic. It doesn't matter who the hell you put us against them. We could face 2 teams out there, 22 guys, and I still call a victory. I did call a defeat, I think only one time on this show. Only one time.
During the Mota error. Maybe it was the Mota error.
No, I think it was during the Allegri 3-year stretch there of 2.0, and that would be a trivia. That would be a trivia question. But we are going to get to Storm the Barn. Guys, fantastic preview coverage, getting ready for this game. There is a watch-along today, everybody, okay? So after the show ends, we got about an hour to do whatever the hell you need to do, okay, for pregame ritual, and then we're going to get back at it. But let's try and machine gun some of these. Alex Juve says, if Sergei Milinkovic-Savic doesn't come to Juve, give me 3 midfielders that could bring what he can. SMS as a regista is fire. I just, again, for me, I don't like how it all went down at the beginning. His ambition level kind of showed. I'm a little weary. I don't know. I'm going to tell you, like, Tonali would be, of course, miles clear. He's probably going to be miles clear on price as well. But what if Lobotka doesn't want to? I think that guy's criminally underrated. Criminally underrated. And if he wanted to leave, if he finds no renewal, but they will. They will. But he's a player I'd look at. Ricci is one I thought we should have jumped on for the price tag. Funny enough, we were looking for midfielders, but we were looking for 100 million midfielders or 60 to 80 million midfielders and not the guys around 30 like Ricci. But guys, if not SMS, who?
Well, it doesn't specify to be realistic. So the two that jump off the board for me are Sandro Tonali, more polished, experienced midfielder. And if we're going like completely off the board, youngster who's ripping it up, Nico Paz, man. That guy is phenomenal.
Paz is insane,
unreal.
But yeah,
like,
if we're going not realistic, Paz is incredible, man.
Yeah.
Paz is incredible.
Those two for me jump off the page.
Yeah. Paulo, any names you're thinking?
Yeah, I like Ullman. I still think he makes sense to us. I want a midfielder who's going to be around for 3 or 5 years. Like I want somebody who's young enough in their early 20s, maybe 23, 24, maybe 25 or something like that, who's going to be around for 3-5 years and be a part of something, maybe not replace Loca, but be an option at either side or in place of Loca at any given moment. I'd like a guy like Ederson or Ullman. Those are the type of guys I think I would look for. I'm not interested in SMS. No.
Yeah.
No.
Who's the better striker? Prime CR7, R9, Van Basten, or Crimpio Esposito? I'm obviously not serious, but the way I gotta laugh because I'm with you 100% Forzio. He says the way the media is hyping up Pio shows the lack of high quality talent. I've literally tweeted this this past week. I was pissing myself because it's like everybody's like, oh my God, he made his appearances, like here it is. And I'm like, and I watch, it's a minute of my life I will never get back. Okay. I was so underwhelmed and I'm like, what did I just watch? I've never seen somebody get so much hype for absolutely nothing. He is getting hyped up for simply existing. I have to laugh. Like, I'm like, Inter could sign my neighbor's dog tomorrow, and all of a sudden you'd hear that it's the second coming of Zinedine Zidane. It's wild to me. But maybe a sign of how desperate Italy has become for talent. Maybe, right? But this kid's getting hyped for absolutely nothing. It's crazy. I think they put out a training video where he grabs a water bottle and fucking like just takes a sip and they're like, did you see that? Fuck outta here with this guy. Jesus. Can we wait for like a goal contribution? I'll even take a hockey pre-assist for God's sakes before we get crazy here. Guy's done nothing. Pump the brakes. What did Alicia Lehman say to Douglas Luiz when he sat down on command? Good Dougie. Oh, yo.
That's kind of funny. Honestly, I think that works. It got her a ticket here, didn't it?
Okay, well, there's 3 of us on here, so trim, yellow or red?
Let's go yellow. Let's go yellow today.
Paulo, no card, yellow, red?
Advantage. Keep playing.
I was going straight red. You're safe there. Khan. All right, you're safe. Good Lord. Openda or Jonathan David today to start? Sounds like Openda could be the guy. I'd go David, personally. But I could see why you would be thinking Openda, because if we are planning on playing a transitional game, Openda's probably the pick to give Atalanta fits. and push back there just because of his pace difference to Jonathan David, right?
Yeah.
So I could see it, but the way I'm thinking and the way I believe we should approach this is to control the match, and that's why I would lean towards playing Jonathan David. What do you guys think? Paulo, what would you do? What's your preference? I can make the case for both, so I get it.
Yeah, Openda makes sense like you described. I'm starting to think about Kolumawani when I see Openda, and I've got to stop doing that. So it's a long season. We'll see. I do think you have to get David going early and soon. This guy's got to get on track. So I would put David in because I need him. I need him to take his mantle on the team.
Yeah.
So I'll put David in.
And Trim, what do you think?
Yeah, you guys hit the nail on the head. Like, I mean, it's just I would choose David only because you want to try to get him going. I know that there's a Champions League match midweek, so some are maybe saying, get him rested and ready for that match. But in a match today, like against Atalanta, Juric side, who's going to want to, try to run at you, possess the ball, quick counterattack, we need to control the ball. And like you said, we need to get it off our feet quicker. I feel like he can do that with his hold-up play and just kind of confusing the defense and the midfield of Atalanta and giving different options, whereas Openda's more of a straight-line guy, just run with speed and attack, which isn't a bad thing per se, but, David's, it's his time to shine and to start playing, so we got to get him more involved.
And I feel like the only time he's looked off to me, like I know people have been hard on him, the only time I think it's been off is when it was Openda and David together and they were mixing and matching in that advanced role and whatnot. And that's literally like these guys have barely had training sessions together, let alone just the fact of them coming into a new team entirely. So outside of that, I think David actually has done a good job in terms of linking up and interchanging with his teammates. I still think what we were seeing early showed incredible signs of David, Yildiz, Conceição. I think when you get to the point, your 1A needs to be Yildiz, David, and Zhigrova. And I think then you're going to be lights out and cooking. But you got to put together the rest. And for me, it's still midfield above all. But Openda, yeah, I mean, I could understand why you want to go with this matchup. But you can't be sitting David either. Like, he's got to get going. So Tudor's got a little bit of a juggling act here, and he's still got to bring home the results. That's the thing, is like you got to get these guys going, but you gotta get results too. So let's see how he dials it up today. We got some question marks there. Maybe we see something completely different too. Maybe we get a surprise. Get rid of 3 at the back, please. Kalulu as a wingback acts as a 4th center back, and then Locatelli drops deep as a 5th. It leaves Thuram in a complete island, and we play a weird 5-1-4 with no balance. I mean, yeah, the pivot in general is being overrun the past 3 games. When you can't play that way against Verona, really says it all. So it is time to... I don't know if it's like a mental outset that they believe in playing in this way that like automatically sets them back into this negative approach, but 4-3-3, a variation, 4-3-2-1, and get after it. I mean, we've all been on board with that one, like a variation of that, something that has your 3 midfielders in there, but you also can't sacrifice your guys at the top, which is why we're all going to 4-man backlines. Because you don't want to take away the biggest strength with it, which is our group of attackers, right? So you don't want to go 3-5-2 and take away a Chico, a Zhigrova, even an Openda, right? Like you want 3 of those attackers out of that group that you've established. You want 3 of them in there. That's why it's got to scrap the back 3. But will Tudor actually do it when push comes to shove? We got to wait and see. What does Rugani have to do to get us started? He just needs me as the gaffer. I already called it. Let's go. Smokes. Hey, if we're being honest, I think it was an insane blunder to play Gatti in the heart of a 3-man backline against Verona.
Yeah.
You've also played Rugani. Every time Bremer got a rest in preseason, like coming in, you planned for it. That Rugani was the guy. He only looked suspect on like one of the goals in the preseason that I could think of. other than that, he did fine in filling in for him. That was a weird one to me. And Gatti looked brutal there, as expected. That backline, Kelly, Bremer, Kalulu, was bad.
Yeah, you're going to have to use Gatti at some, excuse me. You're going to have to use Rugani at some point, right? You're going to have to give Bremer some rest. So the Verona game was the perfect game to put him in. And he didn't. Yeah. So I don't want him there today, but with 4 at the back, it would be, at least he'd have more options and he could rotate some guys in the middle a bit. But
yeah. Trem.
We've said many times that Gatti can't be the main guy. You need him to be insulated if it's a 4-back, or even with 3 at the back, like Bremer's got to be in there when Gatti's out there. Because if he's the main guy in the middle, it's not going to work. Like I said, don't really have much to add. You guys kind of hit the nail on the head. Like, Rugani should have started in the last game. That was the perfect opportunity to get him some minutes. Today wouldn't be that the game for him, unless you do go 4 at the back and you have them as a pair of Rugani and Bremer at the back in the heart there. But Rugani's got to come in against some of those quote-unquote weaker sides to get him some minutes and establish and give some other guys some rest and opportunity. But that's kind of what I see.
Yeah.
And you guys hit the nail on the head.
There you go. Did we pick a new president yet? I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the call. It's frustrating. You guys get the likes up.
Kamoli found somebody. Kamoli found somebody. He said, look, we've looked at a lot of people, and we're really happy we found the exact right person we were looking for the whole time. It's me. So I think Kamoli's going to end up picking himself.
It feels like he's got free reign. It's like he's just calling all the shots here. He's bringing in the French Revolution, I think we're going to end up with here. Oh, my God. Nonetheless, is what it is. The Darren Burgess signing is going to be an interesting one to see. A lot of excitement from our Australian friends around that one. Speaking of Australian friends, Rick Owsey, 3-1 win to Juve. Let's go, baby. We need it. Get those likes up, everybody. Okay, we got a couple more Storm the Barns here. Cliff's asking who has the best footy technique on the AJC. Well, I haven't seen everybody play. Who knows? Technique, though. I'll tell you right now, I'm up there, boys. I'm up there.
I was gonna say Bert has the answer in himself.
Yeah, it's definitely the ones that still are playing, because I have not played a competitive match in over 20 years or so. So, I mean, technique's still there, but I can't, but no pace, no endurance, nothing. Hockey doesn't really help that. So,
yeah.
But I could be a sneaky little player in there. Maybe.
Actually, you know what's funny about this? I thought about doing this and I wasn't sure if anybody would appreciate the comment. And I thought if anything, we'd have like some fun with it. But I literally thought about this week and I've got a field right behind me. And I said, it'd be interesting to like video goals and try to recreate them. See how many takes, like see whatever, and just try to. So the Pogba, the blast from like way out there where that thing is just swerving. I'm like, man, we should take some stabs at that. Set up a camera and just, I'll have the daughter toss up the ball to me and then I settle it and hit it on the run and see how many. So Army, if you guys are into content like that, let me know, because fuck, I could do that at any time. Jump on the field back there and try to recreate some epic goals there. But that Pogba one, man, Jesus, that was insane. Speaking of the kit, you got the Pogba kit there and everything. That kit is
amazing.
Just an awesome kit. Where would it rank? Does it hit your top 5? Does that one hit your top 10? It's in your top 5, Paulo?
I think so. I really like it, and I can already think of 5 that I would love right now and make my list. So, yeah, I think it's up there. And I love Pogba. I think he's incredible. So
that was Pogba was insane to watch, man. I still say to this day, this is an interesting one. It always comes up, but despite him and his will, and I could fully understand why he wanted to go back there to prove himself, I still said I wouldn't have sold him if I was Juve. I would have been like, dude, I get it. It's your will to go there and stuff. Like, that's what you're wanting. But I'd be like, no, man, like, just, I would have pushed and pushed and been like, no, man. And I always wonder, what if that guy stayed? I think it would have been a way different outcome for the guy. And I feel like the treatment he got in England versus Italy was night and day, from like Juve fans to there. I think even when he went back on that price tag and everything, he was always going uphill in England, it felt like. Always battling against the grain, you know? And I just feel like, man, if he stayed, it would have been lights out and the best thing for him. Pogba's always one I wonder about. But selling players against, like, keeping players against their will. Usually I'm always like, man, you sell them if they want to go, whatever. But, like, I'm starting to think about it. If it ain't good for us, too bad. You're in a contract. Like, these players have so much fucking power.
Yeah, they really do. Yeah.
You know, I'm used to the days of hockey where it's like, hey, man, you get called into the office. It's like, just so you know, you're heading out to San Antonio, or you're going over here. You're going, it's like, what? Yeah, pack up your stuff. I just bought a house. And they were like, yeah, see you later.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. Exactly.
Thanks, eh?
Yeah.
And now here in the football world, it's never been like that. Players have and naturally, because, I mean, you're talking about a game on a global scale, whereas hockey's in a league, so it's like you're going to stay in North America. Here it's like they can't just be like, yeah, we sold you. You're going to Zhengzhou or whatever. It's like, what? No. But I always wonder about that. Would you guys be in the same ballpark depending on who the player? Let's say Yildiz all of a sudden today is like, hey, I want to go to this team. Let's say that the number you were like, I'm not too happy about. You keep him against his will? I do.
I would, but the second I start to see performance dip, because that's the kind of catch-22 to this scenario, right? Because if you keep a player against his will and then he just starts sour putting around and, just not performing and just play dips and all that, because he's bitter, he wants to leave, he wants to move. That's kind of where you have to, it's a fine line to walk. But obviously with the guy specific like Yildiz, like, you wouldn't want to move him, that's for sure. Even if, the number was high, it would have to be something outrageous to even consider it. But I would fear about, performance drop and the guy just, causing a stir in the locker room, and just wouldn't be a good situation.
Yeah. Paulo, what about that hypothetical? Yildiz says he wants to go. You're not really happy about it. You keep him.
You can't keep a player who doesn't want to be there. You really just have to hope that you have a good relationship and you can get a good price, and that behind the scenes you can work out something. You can't keep a player who doesn't want to be on your team, and what? There's no benefit to that. But you need a good value for them.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like, yeah, if the value's not there, if it doesn't make sense for us, even with the roster build, etc., it's like, you're in a contract too. We always hear it the other way. It's like, hey, you guys signed the contract for this player. Deal with it, even if they're not holding up their end of the bargain. Sometimes you might have to turn it back on them. Like, hey, part of being a professional, you signed this. Like, let's giddy up and go. We need you. It's tough. It's really, really tough. I think they kind of got you by the balls, these players.
That Isak situation is an example of the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
What happened there was basically the prime example of a really important player and a team having difference of views, and him wanting to get out of a contract. He still had 3 years on it too. So
yeah, Lookman is also, if we're looking at Atalanta, that's a situation that is the exact same, but they have now mended things, and Lookman is starting to get his fitness out. I mean, I can't believe the fact that he wasn't taking care of himself to still be fit or whatever. And it's like, so now they got to do that, but the juice is gone. Maybe this is another sign that the juice is gone with Gasperini. So now that's in Roma, but Dybala still having injury issues. Oh, I went there, everybody. I went there.
I remember Koopmeiners. Remember Koopmeiners when he was with Atalanta and he wanted to come here? I need to see a psychologist. I can't play. I'm having stress.
Now he's got the flu every time he's got a bad performance. He's got the flu. Oh, Coop's got the flu. He's got the flu. The flu. He's giving me the flu, for God's sakes. Changing to a back four will help Gatti as well. He's never been good in a back three. I agree with you. I think it'll help everybody. Like Gatti and Bremer, I can't stress this enough. The beginning of last season, if there's one thing that was insane for us, it was the fact that, and again, what a contrast. You were barely allowing any attempts on goal last year at the start with those two guys. Now 63 already in the amount of games. Are you serious? Got to figure it out. 39 years ago today, Cliff Burton died. Oh my God, rest in peace. And one of my favorite bands ever, man, Metallica.
Oh yeah.
Game Days. Tomorrow's my last regular season, and I will be blasting For Whom the Bell Tolls to get ready.
Classic.
One of my favorites to get pumped up for. One of the best shows I've been to, actually, was their filming of the DVD in Vancouver. They filmed in Vancouver and Edmonton, but oh my God. You want to talk about a concert? That was one of them. Guys, we got to shut it down. This was incredible. Great preview show. Army, you guys are the best. Get the likes up. And again, reminder, head over. Google Football Content Awards. Okay, click on FCA's voting and throw us down a vote. Rep the AJC, all right? We appreciate all the support that has, first off, even allowed us to reach top 15 finalists for that, okay?
That's awesome.
Very happy, proud, honored. I thank everybody in the team for all their contributions over the years. It's amazing. I was very happy to hear that these boys got together the other day for a dinner over there in TO. Okay, yep. Luca, our French friend there, making his way over to Ontario, brought some shitty weather with him, I heard, okay? The rain follows Luca. We all know this, okay? Mm-hmm. But it was good to see you guys together. Skanga, Lucci, Luca, and then Trim, of course. And yeah, man, I could just imagine the banter around that table for that dinner.
It was flying around left, right, and center. It was good times.
Can have it no other way. No other way. You guys, I think Trim's going to try to head over to the official fan club Toronto for the match day today. Reminder, show some love to your local official fan clubs. We've got meetups happening all over North America. If you need help finding one near you, please reach out to us, okay? And we will connect you with the right people. Calogero, thank you very, very much. Okay. Everybody here at the AJC is very appreciative of the Army and all the support we get. We are close to 10K as well, which will be a fantastic milestone. So great positive omens that we are hitting this season, and it's very, very early. Let's keep it rolling and hope that the good vibes come from the pitch as well. Starting with today against Atalanta. We'll reconvene in about an hour's time and get ready for that. Rocky, what's up? Let's go. Let's throw out the big fino alla fine. Forza Juventus. Today, let's turn Atalanta into Atalante. Affanculo. Let's go. Ciao, ciao, everybody.